Hi, I'm Darnell Cox with Live Young Lifestyle, and today we are cooking with friends, or I should say friend. This is Jimmy, otherwise known as Jimmy, with the best grilled chicken ever. So today, however, we are making a really healthy dish, which I love. This is the Asian grilled salmon. Yum. So we're gonna start with 4 salmon fillets. These are wild. I mean, salmon's really good for you. It's like what I call a pretty food. So you can eat this and it makes your skin shine. I love that. And I did write a blog called Eat Your Way to Better Skin, and salmon is on the top of that list. So we're gonna put this aside. This eventually is gonna go into a big plastic bag, and we're gonna dump the marinade on top of it, and then it goes in the refrigerator and marinates for about an hour before we start. So now we're gonna do the marinade. So I'm gonna have you have your tablespoons there. We're gonna add 4 tablespoons of low sodium soy sauce. You can use Bragg's amino acids, which I've used for years, but they took the MSG label off the front of it, and now I'm a little scared to use it. So I'm back to the low sodium soy sauce. So that was 4 tablespoons of that. You're doing 3 teaspoons of fresh lime juice. Limes are not that expensive. Don't buy the whole big thing of juiced lime. The fresher, I think, is the better. Now you're gonna do 2 tablespoons of coconut sugar. The reason why—
Where do you get this?
Whole Foods. You can also get it online. I'm convinced you can get anything off of Amazon. But the reason why I use coconut sugar a lot is because it is a lower glycemic index. So the way that it hits your bloodstream does not store as fat the way that
so quickly.
Yeah, so this is a much better sugar alternative, and it's sweet, and I kind of like it. It has like a nutty little taste to it. And then you're going to do 1 teaspoon of dark sesame oil. Any oils that you get from nuts, whether it's sesame seeds or anything like that, are really good for you. And this, if you smell this, it's just yummy. It almost smells a little bit like peanuts. Okay, so now this is fresh grated ginger. A lot of people don't know, but this is what ginger looks like. It's not a very attractive root, but but instead of using like a powdered ginger, it's so easy to do. You peel it with a potato peeler, and then you just mince it, or you can either mince it really small, but this is grated, so you use like a cheese grater, like it's just, and it comes out like this. So you're gonna do—
And it's much better than buying—
It's much better. I mean,
yeah, and that's what we can really smell a lot of here.
No, it's good.
It's really good.
It's an antioxidant. I must have put it down. Okay. You're doing 2 teaspoons of that. That's really— woo. And it cleans out your sinuses a little bit. And then 1 teaspoon of the sriracha hot sauce. And then you can add just like a tablespoon of these chopped green onions. I did a little bit too much of those, but we're gonna garnish it with these slivers, which I think is a little bit prettier than
So this
chopped.
is the garnish. This is for the marinade?
Yeah, but you don't need a lot. I mean, yeah, okay.
They're gonna fall off for the most part.
So these are garnished too. Okay, so you're gonna whisk that together.
Right. And this is for 4, so you can easily double it.
Yes, and you don't want to throw the marinade away. Like once you take the salmon out and you put it on the grill, don't throw the marinade away, because you can stick it on the stove in a little pan, reboil it, and drizzle it over the top.
So if it's cold in winter and you don't want to be using your grill, this is a good way to get that nice crunch on the salmon skin, which a lot of people really like. Because our marinade is very limited oil, we only put the sesame oil in. We want to put somewhat of an oil on the pan, which would be olive oil. Not much, because we don't want to make the fish too oily and take away from the marinade that you've made.
So these are our salmon fillets. They've been marinating for about an hour. And now we're gonna do your technique of cooking it on the stove and in the oven. Okay, it's gonna be yummy.
We got an oven that's set at 400 degrees. It's a nice hot oven. And we're gonna turn our heat on to about a medium. Get the pan nice and hot so that when we put the fillets in there, there's a nice sizzle, and it seals that skin onto the pan.
And you do skin side down?
Skin side down. We're not gonna, but
you
let's
don't
wait
flip,
till this
and you don't
hot.
flip them at all.
No, you're not gonna flip them. Perfect. So we're gonna keep that on there, and you'll see from down below, Darnell, the meat will start to cook, and you can see the coloring there. And we don't want it to cook all the way, because we want the rest of the cooking to be done in the oven. And when you do this technique, it really turns the salmon a lot more buttery and not as dry as it would on the grill. Grilling is delicious and it adds that nice flavor to it, but this is just another technique where I think you're going to really have more of the essence of your marinade come through, and your salmon's going to be very buttery.
I love that.
Yeah. Do not move them, because once they're ready, the skin will separate from the pan. Oh. Yeah, you don't have to keep moving them around. So anytime you brown any type of item, just leave it there. When it moves off of it, that means it's browned perfectly.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Something my mom taught me way back when, because I hate browning chicken. She goes, just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was the argument we had at the barbecue, because I turn everything.
Yeah.
I turn and turn and
Oh, yeah,
turn. You're like, don't turn. Okay, Jimmy.
Exactly. Okay, so now we know we're ready because the doneness is about almost halfway up through the salmon.
Yeah,
and so
it's like a little bit of
exactly.
color.
So it's a little more opaque in that area.
Okay.
And we still show.
We're sticking this in the oven for about how long?
For about 7 to 10 minutes, depending. We can keep checking it at 400.
Okay. Going in.
Great.
So while the salmon is cooking, we're going to add this extra marinade into a pot, because remember it had raw salmon, so we can't just stick it over the cooked salmon or we'll get sick. So we're going to bring this to a boil and then turn it off, and it's going to go on top of the salmon when everything's done. So we just took the salmon out of the oven. Look how beautiful it looks, and you're right, it really made the skin. Look at my mouth is watering.
I had a little nibble out of it. It's
so
unbelievable.
Good.
It's really good.
It actually made the skin very crispy, and so it looks beautiful. So now we're going to dress it. This was the marinade that we saved and then reboiled.
Right.
So we're going to...
Careful not to boil too much, because there is a little bit of sugar in there with that coconut sugar.
Exactly. You just want to bring it to a boil and then turn it off. So we drizzle this over the top, just like that. Today we're serving this with a coconut brown rice. I made this in the rice cooker, and the difference is instead of adding all water, you'd add the same amount to the same level, but you would do a can of coconut milk and then fill the remainder up with the water. And it is a really, really nice complement to this. And then we're serving this also with a stir-fried vegetable that we blanched first, and this is just garlic, ginger, and a little bit of olive oil, and you just whip it up. This is how we're gonna dress this. You can save a little bit of this if somebody wants extra. And then I just put black sesame seeds on it and slivered green onion. Look at how pretty that is.
Beautiful plate.
And you can even put some of this on the rice, a little bit on the vegetables. Black sesame seeds are really good for you. So there you have it. This dish is also really great on a salad. So what you would do with this marinade is you would boil it, you'd put it in the refrigerator till it was cool. You'd plate a salad, put the salmon on top, and use this while it's warm, so it kind of wilts the salad a little bit, but use this as a dressing.
That would be really good.
It's really, really yummy. So there you have it. That's our Asian salmon.
Looks good.
Thank you for your help.
Certainly, my
I mean,
pleasure.
cooking with friends, like a food that makes you look pretty and and it tastes delicious. That's a really good way to live young. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mwah. Let's eat.